What's up, Threadheads? Y'all better buckle up because we're about to break it down with BreakDown St. Louis. Thread up, y'all.
It's a beautiful day, don't you know? It's a beautiful day.
This is The Thread.
What's up, Threadheads? This week on the show, we're hanging out with an organization called BreakDown St. Louis. They're all about educating, equipping, and empowering young people to make positive life choices. They do it by going into schools with a stage presentation of dance, drama, vocals, and spoken word. It's a powerful, raw, real message, and it all started with one woman.
As a founder of BreakDown, I am very aware that there are abusive high school relationships.
I wanted to start BreakDown because I was one of those teenagers that needed to hear the BreakDown message.
When I was in high school, I was in an abusive relationship.
I didn't have anyone guiding me and giving me advice and not how to fall into those pitfalls of life.
My boyfriend became super jealous, possessive, controlling, manipulative, in time verbally abusive, and then finally physically abusive.
I, growing up, had very little direction. There were some things that happened in my life that I had no control over, and then there was also many things in my life that I just made poor choices. Coming out the other side of it, just realizing my life could have looked different, I wanted to do something that could help teenagers maybe not go down the path that I had previously gone down.
If I was being brutally honest with myself, fear of losing him, I stayed in that relationship. I thought if only I could be the perfect girlfriend, maybe our relationship could go back to the way it was before we started having sex.
There's nothing that we're saying from the stage that they're not hearing on a daily basis in the hallways. I don't care if you go to a public school, a private school, or you're homeschooled, your students are being exposed to this stuff. After every single presentation, there are students that come up and share that they're either in an abusive relationship, they're self-harming, they've been raped, or they've contemplated suicide on many occasions. We are really pleasantly surprised that students are often just so relieved to hear that there is a different message out there, that they don't have to live to the low expectations that the society or their parents tell them that they have to live to. So you would think that as long as I've been doing this, that it would get old. But as you can see, tears today, it's because every student matters. And that's why we're doing this. I will keep doing it as long as I can to reach every student that is willing to listen and have that heart change.
In some ways, I expected it. I knew that this was going to be a message that would be so powerful and that we wanted to get out. And then other ways, I'm just dumbfounded that we're here, we're actually doing this, and I'm watching it as it's come to fruition. When I first started, it was mainly we addressed sex and alcohol and drugs, and now we've added in the West culture, I think it's been huge. Anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicide, those have all skyrocketed. And now being able to address in the North County, like the fatherlessness and the homicide. Students want to be seen, and we see students, we see them where they are, but the hope is not to leave them there. They can live life differently, regardless of what they've been through, regardless of what they're going through now, that there's hope, that there's a different way. I am just dumbfounded still at how many people's eyes are open and say, like, they had no idea that they had a choice. What was meant for evil in my life, my own doing and others, has now been able to turn around and be able to use for good in thousands of students' lives.
Proud of these young people?
Extremely. I wish I would have been half the person that they are at their age.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I hate what I've become.
Too bad it's not working for you. Oh, you little...
Hey, stop it!
But there's no hope for me anymore.
This is what is real, this is what's happening, and this is true, and that could be us in any situation, any time, any moment.
It was my first time, okay? I might have a bad reputation, but at least I don't have to throw up every single day to try and lose some weight.
And that's all it would take, is one bad decision to burn down everything I've worked for.
Some topics that we dig deep into could pertain to sex trafficking, meth, pornography, self-harm, healthy conflict resolution.
And that's the cool thing about BreakDown, is it's living, it's breathing, it's always growing, and it's always expanding, which is also super cool to be a part of, because you're always doing new things and nothing gets boring or old.
I promise I'll get help. It wasn't my intentions. I'm sorry to myself.
I know what I'm about to do will be devastating.
I think the thing that really struck me most was the suicide scene.
But don't worry about me. The pain will soon be gone.
The action of just calling someone and seeing if they wanted to shoot hoops or whatever.
Do you have time tonight to go shoot hoops and maybe come back to my house?
It's crazy to think how something so normal could make such an impact on someone's life.
I was actually playing the kid who struggled with suicide, and I got to talk to a student after performance who had his suicide planned for later that week, and got his phone number and got to talk to him and just showed him that there's more to life and that he's worth it. And just realizing if I wasn't a part of BreakDown, or if BreakDown didn't come to that school that week, like, who knows what could have happened.
I've made choices I'll probably regret for the rest of my life. And for me, none of it was worth it.
This school, I feel, doesn't get a lot of presentations like these, and it's nice to see a lot of people come in and help spread the positivity about being ourselves and knowing that we can change our lives for the better.
Why are we always tearing each other down? Isn't there enough going on already?
Even if out of the entire audience, one person went home thinking, I'm gonna live my life differently, I think that would make it so worth it, to me at least, and to the entire team.
Just go away.
You know what? No. I'm not gonna give up on you like everyone else does. I'm not just gonna let you push me away.
When you see the production, what do you think about what you see and what the presentation looks like?
I think it's beautiful. I mean, just like watching some of the dancers and scenes and everything, it's just like really cool.
When I was in 7th grade, actually, I saw my first presentation for BreakDown. I knew someone on the team, and just being that young and seeing all these kids up on stage just loving what they do, it was just so cool, and I was like, I want to be a part of that someday.
It's just so cool, like the different types of people this team brings together, and then seeing all that put together in a beautiful presentation, like, it's just amazing to watch.
Why is this platform needed? Why is this message so necessary today?
I think it's necessary because a lot of kids our age, or maybe even younger, that grew up without knowing there are better options to what their situation brings.
There's a lot of strength with it coming from the peers, and that's what makes BreakDown so different.
We're not saying that we're better than you, but there are better options. Now that you've been presented that option, what are you gonna do?
We do it by living our lives out and being an example for them, to show them like it's not something that we just believe in, it's something that we do every single day.
We're not people who have like never done a wrong thing in our life, and we admit that, like, we do bad things, like, we're human, we've been through stuff, and I think that's what really can inspire other people to look at us and be like, oh, well, this person went through all of that and they still changed their life around. Who's to say I can't do that too?
Before I was on the team, I struggled a lot with depression and suicide, and like coming out of that and then coming onto this team and seeing how this isn't just a performance, but we're performing some of the lives and some of the things that we've struggled with and we've walked through.
Are guys less apt to talk to you about this stuff? Are they more guarded?
Yeah. After our presentations and stuff, I make it my initiative to step up to them and say, hey, who did you relate to? And then that starts the conversation, and then you'll be surprised at how much they say to you.
Because sometimes when things impact you, you don't know what to say or how to react to it. And I feel like the fact that we go up to them gives them that light, like, okay, now I know what to talk about, tell them how I feel about it and how I relate to it.
What are the moments for you that say that's exactly why we do this?
The bell had rung while we were performing, and all the students had to leave. So then 2 students had stayed back, and then we were deciding whether we should we should keep going or not. And then we was like, you know what? That's what we're here for anyway. Because if it's just one person, then we're here for that one person. And then we kept going until the end, and we kept going like it was a presentation in front of the whole school, but for that one person or those two people that stayed back.
I think with every presentation, as long as we impact one student, it's all worth it.
Our first mission is bring glory to God. That's why we're here. We have a talent, just happens to be banking.
So M1 Bank is banking on a mission fueled by the power of purpose.
It gets a point in your life where you got to live it every day, not just believe it.
I'm believing that this is going to catch on and we're all going to thread up.
For us in our house, this is how we're going to serve the Lord and His purpose. And we're going to do it through the financial institution that happens to be called M1 Bank.
Hey, Threadheads, thanks for joining us this morning. Are you picking up on a theme here? We're like bringing joy, creating community, transforming lives. That's what this show is all about. We are so much stronger when we come together than we ever are when we separate and divide. We want to continue this mission. We want to help this city thread up and be the most it can be. So, you want to be a part of the team? You want to help us on that mission? Go to thethreadstl.com and learn how you can be a threadhead and help us thread up, y'all.
Do you know someone who is committed to changing lives in your community? Well, don't keep it a secret. Tell us about it. We're always looking for story ideas from all around the area, and you can help us find them. If you know of a neighbor or a good Samaritan devoting their time and talents to helping others, then go to our website and send us an email to sowhat@thethreadstl.com. You can also contact us on our Facebook page, and you just might see it on the thread because we love sharing the good news happening all around our town.
It's hard to believe we're in season 3 of The Thread, considering that in the beginning, Virginia and I knew next to nothing about owning a show or running a nonprofit. Circle of Advisors Securus has been a part of the Thread Circle of Advisors since day one, walking alongside us as we walk out this new journey that God has called us to. And if they can help a couple of hot messes like me in Virginia, they can certainly help you too.
Tim, we've been proud to walk alongside of The Thread, and we'd be honored to walk alongside of you too.
Welcome back to The Thread. We're spending the morning with BreakDown St. Louis, an organization of young people dedicated to educating, equipping, and empowering young people to make positive life choices. They had one team, everything was going great, except there was a need for yet another team.
I thought I'd get my life together when I got older. Now I might not have that chance, bro.
Initially, it was my intent to have one diverse team, but just the way St. Louis is segregated, that just didn't happen. So as a result, we have 2 teams.
You don't know what it's like that never met your father? You don't know what it's like to go through stuff in life and not have your pops there.
The heart and the reason for this team's existence was to be able to take that message of hope to a community in a way that that community could understand.
In our West County, South County rural team, we address self-harm. A topic that's addressed in our North presentation is homicide and fatherlessness. So we're able to really meet students exactly where they are in even a more powerful way.
What, you want your name to be next? I know who killed my boy, man. What you want me to do, fall back like a punk or something? That ain't me, bro.
And so we take a common kind of message and we tailor it to sound, look, feel, taste, smell like something that really resonates with them.
If you have an adult doing a presentation like this, it's kind of easy to like brush it off because it's like, yeah, my mama said too, blah, blah, blah.
It feels less like rules and more like an opportunity to live differently when you hear it from someone you know relates to you right in that moment.
They can look at us and be like, I'm not in this alone.
Because everyone doesn't have this. Everyone doesn't have a community to fall back on. Everyone doesn't have people to go to. So just let them know, yeah, we don't know you, but I can look in your eye and tell you I love you, and you can come to me.
And so this team are like catalysts to just spark change and to bring that hope to them to say, you know what, I can live that.
Couldn't do it, all right?
Look, man, it may not seem like it now, but you made the right decision.
We've really heard some positive results. People deciding and making conscious decisions to change and realizing that their past pains, their past hurts don't have to define them going forward.
It's a good way to get the message through because you get to watch it and see how everything turns out for everybody after they do certain things and make certain choices. it gives you more ability to hear more than once and from different people, to knowing that they can believe in you too.
Don't try to have sex or anything, just smoke marijuana just to fit in with people. Be yourself, and that's how you attract friends.
We can break the cycle. The change starts with us.
Why is that different message needed, or a different delivery of the message needed?
There's kind of a different culture between the West County and North County. We definitely go through different struggles than each other, and there's some things that impact North County that might not really impact West County. The homicide scene, or like fatherlessness, and that's kind of a big thing in North County for like decades.
Bringing one culture into another, while the message is still good and everyone still needs to hear it, the delivery and the way we present it needs to speak to the students where they are, or else it's not going to impact anyone. And it allows us to more specifically target the issues, target what are they dealing with specifically in their culture, in their community, in their age range. It's like coming to someone speaking a language they don't speak. Yeah, what you're saying is great, but if they don't understand it, then it's not having an impact.
I feel like it brings light to a very, very dark place. But then when you get to see something like BreakDown, it'll probably speak something to light that they've been hiding for a while.
Then it'll give them that realization like, oh, there are people out there my age, people that look like me, that dress like me, and they live their everyday lives, you know, to the best that they can and making the right decisions.
That's where the healing process will take place in the community.
Coolest reaction you've seen to the North team?
After I had did one of my monologues about the community, and somebody had posted a quote from my monologue onto their Instagram. And so that really showed that they were paying attention, that it's really hitting home for them.
But this crowd just like felt really dead and quiet, so I was like, okay, a lot of them aren't paying attention, but at the end I remember we got a standing ovation, and I can't remember which school it was at. It just really gave me a great visual for what I can see and what I can hear is not always how they're impacted. And just trusting that what we're delivering, it's impacting them in some way.
I see the way that we present in West County, and I see how effective it is, and the impact that we get to make. And in my head, you know, my closed-mindedness, I'm like, well, why wouldn't that be good for North County too? But like after seeing the presentation, I'm like, wow, there's a lot more things that they struggle with and that are much heavier in North County than it is in West County or South County that we don't really touch on. We aren't on the same teams, but I can sit here and say we're all brothers. You know, we're all brothers and sisters, and just to like see that we can partner and do our own things, helping each other out and do our own things in our own ways.
Hey, Threadheads, you no doubt know Don Brown.
Don Brown Chevrolet. Don Brown Chevrolet. Don Brown Chevrolet.
And you probably know that Don has a flair for fashion and a knack for cars, but he also has a heart for people.
I learned from my father a long time ago, it's not about one person, it's about the entire community. It is a car business, but it's a people business. It's about the people. It's not about the products, it's about the people.
If you're in the market for a car, come to Don Brown, where it's people over process.
And we're proud to be part of the Thread family, and we'd love to be part of your family.
Imagine, if you will, a dark, stormy night. Through the pouring rain and lightning, you see a stream of water running through your yard that wasn't there before. You fear it will creep higher and higher, eventually invading your home. And you don't have flood insurance. You're about to enter a new dimension. You've crossed over into the flood zone. The truth is, we all live in a flood zone. And overland flooding can destroy your property with just the smallest amount of water, costing you thousands of dollars. Your only protection? Flood insurance. The Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District wants you to know your zone. Be prepared and know the hazards of spring flooding. Go to knowyourzone.org to learn more. Or your next stop could be the flood zone. What? Our time's almost up together already? You mean I gotta wait till next Saturday? That's way too long. We gotta catch up during the week. I got a great idea. Hey, why don't you follow us on social media? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You know, we've got content that doesn't actually fit on our 30-minute show, right? And we're adding new messages all the time. So follow us, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's our way to keep up with you throughout the week. And we can thread up all week long. Follow us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. See you soon.
When my father was not in the home, I began to look for my reflection. But I started looking for my reflection in the wrong places.
We have those little pockets within the presentation where we bring in a speaker and we bring in someone that can really kind of share their story.
Here's the deal. Whatever it is you're doing or whatever anger you're portraying, you hurt nobody else but yourself. Can I tell you, life is only 10% of what people do to you. The other 90 is how you respond.
It is a strong message, folks. BreakDown St. Louis is laying it out there raw and real, and it is having an impact. But not just externally. The impact it's having on the students that hear it is one thing, but the impact it's having on the team members, just as significant. Y'all's goal is to impact these young people. But I want to talk about how it's impacted you to be a part of this community.
In this day and age, just being authentic with each other and just being around people who have the best interest for you is really nice, especially like people around our age.
With social media, it's like we're constantly performing for people. And you don't have to do that on BreakDown. Like when I'm with these people, like I don't have to pretend to be anything I'm not.
The people that care about you, they care about you because you're a cool dude and you're loyal. That's when you're not high. But when you are, the things that make you you, they go away.
I can tell these people anything, like anything at all. And like JJ said, they're not gonna judge you, they're gonna walk with you and they're gonna do life with you.
We're kind of forced to be vulnerable with each other, you know, because of what we talk about. We bring our struggles to the table and what we've gone through and our stories. And I think that really opens our minds to who each other is as a person and how we can love that person well.
I was like, you know, one pebble in the current, and I can only do so much by myself. But being with BreakDown and finding people to add to that one, it kind of builds a wall and keeps me stable. So it keeps me from wavering so I can do what I need to do to encourage the youth.
I think for a lot of people, especially since St. Louis is so segregated, it's like that's the first thing they see when they look at a person is their race. But I just feel like that's not the way we are.
I am black, I'm white. We both struggle. Some are the same, and some are different.
I think one thing that this community and this unity shows is like, before we're black, before we're white, we're people. It's not weird or awkward, like we're just family. You get to open up and be honest with each other.
Instead of us judging for color, we can take time to actually learn from each other's culture because everybody's different. No matter what color you are, you're gonna struggle regardless.
I lost my dad to cancer about 2 years ago, and BreakDown was the family that was in the hospital room with us, you know, those nights leading up to it, and they were the family that was there 2 months later after everything had calmed down, you know, still giving us meals and loving on us well and asking us how we're doing.
We show each other what it's like to be fully loved by your peers, and that's something special that you can't find every day.
What an amazing group of young people, right? Awesome. And an awesome vision of community when you look at them, right? The way they're not only serving the community at large, but serving one another as they go out and serve others. And it all started with one woman who was willing to share her story, Jenna, the hardships that she went through. She was willing to use them to help these other young people so they wouldn't have to go down the same path she went. They could make the right choices. Her willingness to be vulnerable and share it. You know, we never go through anything in life that's just for us. It's for other people too. It's for us in the sense that it teaches us to lean into God, that we don't have the strength, but it also equips us to minister to other people who are going through the exact same struggle. We can help them on their walk. Tell them what we've gone through so they don't have to go through the struggles and hardships that we went through. And if they do go through them, help them through them the way we were helped through them as well. It's like Joseph when he addresses his brothers after he was sold into slavery and he reconciles with them and their father passes away and they're thinking, oh, now the dad's gone, we're done. And they say, we good, Joseph? And Joseph says, it's all good. What you meant for evil, God used for good. If that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have been able to save the Egyptian people from the famine. He used that experience, and God will use everything that you've experienced to serve you and others. It's how he works. And how about that message being tailored specifically for the audience? These are young people relating to young people. It's just like Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, when he says, I became all things to all people so that I might save some. He didn't change the message. He changed the mode. He moved alongside people right where they are. It wasn't a top-down ministry, it's an alongside. It's relationship. We talk about it all the time. And relationship, that ship added to relate. It's being able to relate. It's the quality of relating. And that quality of relating, when it's peer-to-peer like they're doing in BreakDown St. Louis, is powerful. And not all of those students have had the same experiences, but each of them as a community have had these different experiences, and they can minister to those who have had them as well. So you're flawed, so you're fractured, broken. That means you're human. And that means that God can speak through those cracks. His light will shine through. When the Holy Spirit works in and through us, the light shines through the cracks, and we can share others about the good news and the healing we've received in Jesus Christ. What a blessing. Well, that brings us to the end, but not the end. You know what I'm talking about. If you had one word to describe BreakDown.
BreakDown St. Louis is life-changing.
BreakDown STL is love.
BreakDown St. Louis, depending on your situation, life-saving.
I would say BreakDown is culture-changing.
BreakDown STL is powerful.
BreakDown is safe.
BreakDown St. Louis is bold.
Spot Media Production Group.